If you were watching Anya drive these ponies, if you were tuned in a little bit before that, we talked about this upcoming video, which is part of the series that we put together this spring when I was calving. And this one is called Saving Number 20. And it was about a calf that I had come up on early in the morning. The first check out in the pasture with some of our cows that have calved before. We call them just our older cows. And you'll be able to see what we had to go through. Sometimes it happens. We got very lucky with this. And I guess we'll let the film roll and talk about it afterwards. So James, take it away.
Hey, good morning from the Hashknife. Well, I was doing my early morning pasture check and found a cow and a calf standing really with the rest of the herd on the feed ground. And the calf was laid out flat. I thought it was dead. I went up to it, and sure enough, it still had some breath in it. Its head was thrown back a little bit, and its eyes were kind of glassy and rolled back. That's a close to death look. So I grabbed the calf, didn't waste any time. I didn't get any video for you, but got it in here, and I got it in this hot box, and we'll let it warm up a little bit. See if you can see it in here. At least it's curled up, and it's, oh yeah, much more alert. Well, as alert as a baby calf can be. So now it's time to go out. I got to grab this cow, bring her in, and get them reunited and get some milk in this baby's belly. So it's time to grab a horse. Hey, I'm headed out on this horse with no name. And I can see why this calf was kind of cooled down a little bit too much. I don't know that she had a chance to get up and grab a little sack lunch and warm herself up a little bit, but needless to say, she's pretty lethargic, and when they start laying their head back and their eyes roll back in her head, that's not a good sign. So we've got her in a hot box, and now I'm going to bring this cow in if I can find her here. She's a little honky, didn't want me to take this calf, and I don't blame her, that's a good thing. But now I got to try to get her down into the corral, so this could be fun. And I come up on these bunch of cows here, and I see her. She's eating the afterbirth, so she's here with them, and maybe I can crowd them all down into the corral and cut her out. She's going to want to probably come back here where she calved, find her calf. You see she's here on the left, consuming that placenta, that afterbirth, eating up. And talked a little bit about that earlier. And she's an older cow. She's not in that great a shape. And after 2 weeks of really hard weather, it's a little hard on her. Look at her eye. She is not happy. So I'm gonna put the phone away. We'll see if we can get a little bit of film on this. Hopefully we can. And this horse is so slow he can't outrun a pregnant cow. He can barely outrun his shadow. I'll show you what we're dealing with here a little bit. Come on, cow. Hip, hip. Just pressure her a little bit. Come on, hip. This is not the best place for me to be. Ha. Yeah, come on. She will take this horse. I've done it a couple of times now. And he's, come on, there we go. Hip, 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 hip. Come on, cow. Come on, cow. Let's go. Shh, 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 shh. Come on, turn around. Take that mad somewhere else. There you go. Shh, 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 shh. Shh, shh. Hep. Come on, girl. Yeah. Hep. Ah. Hep. There we go. There we go. There. If we can just get her doing this the whole time. This is good work for this horse. I'm able to do a little bit of neck reining. And he really follows his cow, or a cow, any cow. And he starts to turn, and he'll turn with him. He'll head him off. There we go. Good girl. And we just get her down here, get her in the corral. By that time, that baby will be warmed up a mite. And we'll see if we can't get them to pair up again. She's confused and mad. Heck, I'm confused all the time. I just try not to get mad about it. And so far, that's so good. lot of times what they'll do is they'll go so far and they'll decide, nope, gone enough, doing no more. And they'll make a stand, and it's tough. And other times they'll just pick up and they'll just take off and run, which I'm okay with as long as they're headed the right direction. That's always a shorter job of this. But it's, oh heck, it's about 25 degrees and the winds come up at about almost 10 miles an hour. It's brisk. So it's no wonder that baby's cooled off. And I can't tell from that bag whether the calf is sucked or not. There we go. Come on. Hip, hap, 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 hap. On, cow. Shh, hap, hap. Hip. Nope. Nope. Shh, 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 shh. Come on. Keep going. Atta girl. Atta girl. I got a bunch of cows up there headed to water. And I got the corral gate set. If she sees them, maybe she might run into them and follow them. And have a nice successful corral in here. Once I get her in there, then mostly the hard part's over. Alright, we got her successfully in the corral and cut her away from 2 cows coming in and left her with 1. I'm alright with this other cow being with her because she's got no calf yet, so we're not leaving a calf alone out there. But a lot of times it's easier to push 2 of these animals together than it is to do just one. So I'm going to kind of use her as a tool if I can. Take her up along the corral here and keep them together. Come on, loosely make them go. And that other cow's, she's getting close to calving too. So come on, baby. Shh, 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 shh. Get up there. Get up there. Ha. She wants to go back. I let her water up good. And because I don't know, she might be in the corral here with limited fresh water. I'll have to make water for her every time in a nice trough, but it's always, they always like it better out of that spring. I don't blame them. She's headed the right direction, so maybe I'll drop this other cow and get her to go up into this other pen nice and quietly. That would be the best hope, but she's looking for a way out already. All right, I got a couple of heifers up here looking at the show. There we go, not bad. Get her in this smaller pen. Now I can call her in with my voice, probably. And that calf is good and warmed up. It's been about an hour. Well, it's time to pull this calf out. It's roughly, I feel some nice warm air coming out of that. And we leave these open. These are adjustable. But it's better to leave these open so that we get the humidity, any humidity that's on that calf as far as amniotic fluid that hasn't dried yet. Get that completely off so you got nice warm air flowing through here. And on the bottom, you see what that really is it's an electric boat heater. And just a great big hair dryer that sits down in there. I can pull that all out, clean it, and then have it ready for the next time because you want to keep things nice and clean. But I got the cow in here. I'm going to open this gate, pull this calf in, set her in there, and then call this cow in, and hopefully everything's going to be all happy. See how this calf looks now. Oh yeah. Boy, you are warm. You are toasty warm. That, look at that face. That will make you want to live, won't it, huh? Come on, kid. All right, come on. Oh, got him. All right, I'm going to set this calf here. All right, feet folded under it, sitting up on the sternum. And then I'm going to bring this. Oh, come on, baby. we're just going to let them kind of stay together for a little bit. She's talking to it, if you can hear that. And we'll give them a little bit of time. Let this calf get up. She's probably hungry, so we'll see if we can't get a mouth on a bag and get some milk down that Gulliga zipper. And that calf is starting to shiver again because I've got her in, not in that hot box. And this is a good game of chicken. I can stand here on this side of the this gate and see how well my welds have held, how confident I am in them. But I may have to get this calf on its feet, or try to, and get it to latch on. I don't know how long if it's been up much. The cartilage is wore off a little bit it's dirty on the toes, so it tells me it's at least been up off of the ground and on its feet. But we'll see. I don't want to lose any headway here we made with this hot box, if possible. Get that kid up. Come on, get her up. Get her up. 20. And she is just honky enough that I don't really want to crawl in there without having a good escape. I've got a panel I've got on the side here that I can push her back maybe and get that little one to stand up. I was hoping she'd, maybe she will. There she goes. So I closed the doors of the barn to kind of reduce any of the wind that was kind of coming into that door. Just helping them out. Come on. Sometimes this is frustrating. See those hindquarters on that calf? She's shaking, cooling down a little bit, so I might just do this. We'll see if we can get her up and get some milk in her to do a body good. It's amazing what some warm milk in that belly will do for them. Yeah, that's less than optimal. Hey, get back. I'm pretty brave when I got all that pipe between me and her. All right, I'm gonna see if I can kind of move her back. Feet on you. Come on, put your feet on you. There we go. There we go. Yeah, just getting them on their feet. All of a sudden decided, you know what, this is a good thing. I get her to go ahead and, oh, get up, come on. Try again, little one, there you go, come on. Try hard. Yeah, she hasn't been up very many times if she has. Yeah, that tail's wagging, that's good. That's a little bit of happiness there. Usually you see that when they got milk going into them. cow to back up a little bit. Let her come to her. Ooh, stand up, little one. Yeah, we just about lost this one. We're not out of the woods yet. Oh. I can hear some nursing noises. This is almost like just a brand new, just barely on his feet calf. As that cow's licking her hind end, a lot of times they'll, just doing that will spur these calves into a nursing action. They will start nursing. Oh, there we go. All right, I can hear. I hear her sucking a little bit. So we've got some success here. So what we'll do is we're just going to leave them alone. Let her fill up. We don't want to have this cow come running at us anymore. So we'll check back on them and see how they're doing here in, 4 or 5 hours. All right, we got about, 4 hours, 5 hours later. And this little heifer has nursed about 3 different times. And I just saw her bed down after she got done nursing and was bucking and playing and running. So I'm going to attempt to stick an ear piece in here in her. Nice and quiet in front of this cow. And then we'll turn them out. All right. Things are looking up already. I'll let her probably pick this calf up, take it outside, and we'll just keep it in the corral here for a little bit and see if we can't observe it a little bit longer, make a few more attempts to have it nursed, and we'll be able to kick her out, put her on her way out in pasture. Come on, girlie, take her out of here. Atta girl. Come on. Yep, come on, cow. Come on, cow. Shh, 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 shh. Come on, cow, let's go. Get out of here. Go on. Go on. Come on, cow. Come on. Take her out of here. Yeah, take her out of here. Let's go. Really? After all I've done for you? I'm grateful. Oh, get her out of here. Let's go. Go on out of here. Get out of here. Come on. Come on. Get out of here. Get out of here. There we go. That baby lined out a little bit. Headed the right direction. Yeah, we'll just keep an eye on them. Leave her out here in this corral a little bit. And that way we can, again, just kind of monitor and intervene if we have to. But I'll bet you by this evening we might be putting her out to pasture. Thanks for coming along, everybody.
Brandon, what a happy ending. You know, that had a number of us on the edge of our seat. Yeah. I'm also very impressed with how useful you have your corrals set up. That, funneling her into the area where you were going to match them, all of that is so well set up. I'm sure that took a lot of thinking.
Well, you scratch out a corral design on a piece of paper at a kitchen table in the winter when you're not doing much, and there's not much to it. It is designed specifically, yes, because there's an easy way to work cattle, and there's a zillion ways that is not easy. So if you can set that up, one person can do a lot of things, and so. There are also some parts, like you saw that silver panel that's inside there that I moved around by hand. That's just an ad hoc. I don't want to put anything permanent in there because I may need to use that whole thing. And so there's also on the outside, I put about 4 panels along the building, and then I can open them at either end so I can funnel a cow into that barn if I have to force her in there. So yeah, there's a lot to that makes it much more expeditious to get things done. And because a lot of times time is very important, especially on a calf that you want to have nursed for the first time, or you need to get a cow in to pull a calf. Some of these things are very time sensitive. So not having proper corrals or facilities can absolutely be a detriment.
Yeah, I mean, it can be the difference between life and death, because if you're dealing not only with this situation, but multiple situations at the same time, and I assume that calving season does that. I mean, you have a number of cattle that are all giving birth. You have no control over the weather. So, right. And the weather's got to be a big factor in all of this, so that having everything ready and at hand has to just be a really important part of what you do.
Yeah, it is. And even when you're prepared, or you think you're prepared, things come up where, you've got a set of twins, and typically low pressure systems on your weather will cause, you'll have births around that low pressure system. Well, with low pressure comes storms. And particularly in the spring, a wet, heavy snowstorm can be, we call them calf killers, because they can just absolutely chill that calf down to the point where they don't get up, and get some colostrum in them for that first nursing, and some warm milk in them. Because you know how we are with a warm cup of cocoa when we're really cold. You can get warm on the outside, but getting that internal temperature up and functioning is vitally important. And you can lose a calf very, very quickly if you don't.
Yeah, and the pasture where the cows are, and I assume most of your cattle do pasture birth, and that they do fine. I know that's in part why you have selected for a specific type of cattle, is that they are good birthers. But still, that's a very big area. So you must be going out daily, horseback or four-wheeler. I mean, hourly, daily, twice a day?
Yeah, it depends. I'm out there 3 or 4 times a day. I'm early in the morning. I'll usually go out in a vehicle and at first light to see if we've had anything during the night, because they will calve often, at 3, 4 in the morning, 2 in the morning, just as a matter of survival. I mean, that's what they do. They calve, get those babies up on their feet with some milk in them so that they can evade predators. If predator can't see that well at night, they can still do it, but it's just a survival mechanism. So I'm out there first thing in the morning, especially on those pasture calving cows. Our older cows that have calved before, they know what's going on. They know what to do, and we don't baby our cows. I mean, they have to be able to take care of themselves. You can't handle them with kid gloves, and if you do, and you have a cow like that needs a lot of assistance, that's one you need to send to town. You can't have that inefficiency built in, and you need a good hardy calf. So first thing in the morning, and then I'll usually come in and then grab a little bit of breakfast, and I'm back out horseback in a couple hours. I'm checking everything, through the night with my heifer calving or checks, and then I'm out riding horses through there, and I double dip that. I'm training horses at the same time I'm working this calving situation, and it does a lot of good for all of them. And then I'm, getting some other things done. And then I'm going out just before dark again. I'll feed in the evening so that those cows tend to calve during the daytime. If you delay their feeding, instead of feeding first thing in the morning, but you delay that until the evening time, they will tend to calve more in the mid-morning to afternoon. It's just changes their whole metabolism and all of the different hormones in their bodies. And it does help. It's not 100%, but it does help a lot. I bet you we have a good 85% of our calves are born during the daylight, where I can assist or be there and watch and take care of them.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. In the wintertime, I feed my horses only once a day, and I do it right before dark, in part because I want them eating during the coldest part of the day. I want them eating all night long. And then I can check in the morning to see if there's anything left over. If there's not left over, you feed them more.
That's right. Yeah, that's how you see whether they clean their plate or not. And they will clean their plate. They're not bashful about eating their greens. So and you adjust that, and that changes with the weather, changes on the temperature. They may need more because of it's being colder. So it makes a large difference. I can remember being, 11, 12 years old, and we're going down the road with my grandpa, driving down the road, and I saw the neighbor was finally feeding his cows about 4 p.m. And I said, God, Grandpa, is that guy that lazy? He didn't get out of bed early? And he goes, no, he's smarter than the rest of us, because he's feeding those cows where they'll calve during the day. And I said, why don't we do that? And he says, well, we should, but I'd like to have those cows in the coldest part of the day starting to eat and getting some feed in their belly, because a ruminant is different than a horse. A horse just got a single stomach, and these cows will chew their cud, they'll regurgitate and eat. That's what they do. They've got multiple stomachs. So he maintained that he really liked in that coldest part of the day, get those cows under some fresh new hay so that they kind of break that fast when it's coldest. And I think he's right. And I do that for the most part, but when we start to calve, I change that, and I'll feed in the evening.
I did notice your shadow on the horse, and I was impressed. First of all, it was a really beautiful shadow, and you're holding your cell phone, taking a video at the same time that you're riding your horse. And I had to compliment you on how steady it was, so you could see your horse's ears. And at first, when you were on the video, it almost looked like the Hollywood of olden days, where they would put the actor on kind of a rocking horse, kind of it was such a nice even walk that horse has. It was just keeping you nice even walk. But that is a particularly good tool for the horses. Do learn an enormous amount. I mean, it was clear that cow didn't necessarily want to leave, and she could easily have charged that horse.
Oh yeah, and that's a kind of a game you have to play. I mean, I could have pushed her a little harder, and even if I didn't have the camera in my hand, I wouldn't have pushed her harder, because the last thing I want to do, and I've had this happen, is push an animal to the point where they do charge, because they'll charge a horse, and they'll hit him. I had a bull hit me and my horse in the belly one time, and we were airborne, and the horse come down on his feet, but then you couldn't get that horse next to that bull after that. So, you can cause some psychological issues on a horse that's being trained, where they don't want to come up to a cow, and that's not what you want. You want that horse to not be afraid of the cows. And so I push them enough and try to bluff those cows just a little bit more than they're trying to bluff me and that horse and get them to win. But yeah, she didn't want to leave. She didn't want to leave because she knew that's where her calf was. She had no idea that I picked that calf up and brought it in with a side-by-side vehicle, and then took it to the barn, and then got right out there to get her. The most important thing was to get that calf into something that was warming it up. And that's why I run in there and got it into that box as quick as I could. And I didn't get any film because of that. But yeah, that calf, if I'd have taken a picture, and you've seen things near death, it was laid down and its head was thrown back and its eyes were rolled back in its head. So it was not long for this world if I hadn't got there and picked it up. How
is that calf now?
We just sold it a week ago. Doing great. It was about 400 pounds this point, and even with the short grass we've got, doing very well. And that cow, she will be cold because she's old enough, or has been cold because she's old enough, but she's been a great cow. She's a little bit too maternal. You can see how you got to watch yourself around her. She doesn't charge you every time, but she sure doesn't want you messing with that little baby. But by the time those calves are a month old, these cows are somewhat sick of them. And you could do about anything with them. They say, yeah, take them. I don't want them anymore. They're bothering them.
Yeah. Well, so the one question we have from viewers, Brandon, is when do you sleep?
Yeah, when I drive. How's that? You want to go for a trip with me? It's tiring. You get up and you go work, do what you need to do in the middle of the night, and then you come back into a nice warm bed. And if you're lucky, nothing's gone on, nothing's close to calving, and you can go with some confidence get another 3-4 hours of sleep. But it's just what it is. It's what you have to do.
Yeah. And the life of a rancher, you're always on call. Even in the winter when you don't have, quote, much to do, you have those cattle out there coping with winter weather, coping with all of that. So it's nonstop 375, isn't it? Or 365.
Yeah. Well, you're probably on Alaska time where they have daylight a lot more. So that's where you got your numbers mixed up. But it's, in the summertime, it's water. You got to make sure you got that water is so crucial because if something happens to a pump, you can't leave those cows. You got to either be there yourself or you have somebody fill in for you. We got done with calving, and I think I announced on our Facebook site that, hey, last calf, or maybe Kaylin did, or my son said, hey, last calf, this is great. Well, some friends of ours from California have been trying to get us to go down there. And they, oh, that's great. Come on down. Now the calving's over. You don't have as much to do. And I'm like, yeah. And, it's funny because, you have times of the year that are busy, and then you have times of the year that are busier. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You're just dedicated there. You might not be much going on some times of the year, but you still have critical things that you need to be there for.
Right. Yeah. It changes, but it's always there. Yeah.
Yep. That's right.
Well, Brandon, again, I want to thank you for sharing all of this with us. We really appreciate it, and it really brings your life alive for us. And, a lot of us who have never lived on a ranch, and I've certainly never lived on a cattle ranch, it's completely new to me. I just really appreciate the behind the scenes. And I have to say, I was, you had us kind of breathless there when you decided to get in with the cow in the panel. And you did that very well. You looked like a young guy, I have to say. You did well.
Well, I feel like I'm 25 inside, and there's a lot of times there's a scared 10-year-old that lives inside of here too. So I know that God looks out for old fools and little kids. So I'm hoping that 10-year-old inside of me is, alive and well. Yeah, it's not exactly the smartest thing to do, but you do what you got to do, and don't think I wasn't watching her out of the corner of my eye the whole time, because you are. You're aware of the situation around you, and you know what? I'll just drop the calf and climb up out of there if I need to. It's not a big deal. Try to stay nimble.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, Brandon, as always, it's a pleasure being with you. And thank you so much for joining us this week. We'll see you next week with another episode. And stay well, stay healthy. And what about fires over in your area? Are they?
Well, right now, I checked the rain gauge this morning here at the ranch. We got 9/10 of an inch all day yesterday. It was phenomenal. And my youngest son, is a wildlands firefighter, as you know, and he came home. He showed up at our home on, what the heck was it? It was Tuesday night, and he spent Wednesday and Thursday with us. And it's the first 2 days in a row he's had off. And I think he's had 3 days off in 6 weeks, and they weren't no 2 days together. So he was ready for a break, and the weather cooperated. So it was really good to see him. Of course, we sent him back last night and said, hey, you've eaten too much food. Go make some money of your own and feed yourself. So he's back at it.
Yeah, we've had some welcoming rain on this side of the state too, and I think you've got more coming your way.
We do. It looks like it, and we are thankful. We're doing handsprings, and it helps. It's not going to solve all of our problems this year for sure, but it at least it's calming things down, and it's reducing the fire danger, because we've had to fight some fire over here this year, and it's even locally we've had a couple of them close. So. It's no fun, but yeah, well, look forward to seeing you next week. I think you guys are going to really enjoy next week's episode. Involves a baby bottle and a calf.
Oh, this will be fun. I'm sure. It was always fun with you, Brandon, and thanks again.
Thank you, Suzanne. You guys have a great one. Bye-bye.
Bye.